Hey, welcome to the Establishing Shot. I'm your host, Eli Price, and I'm here with my son.
Ezekiel?
Yep, Ezekiel is here with me because we recently watched a really good movie. What movie did we watch?
My Neighbor Totoro.
Yeah, My Neighbor Totoro. It was good, huh? Hold up what you got there to show the camera. What do you have here? Show the camera. Yep, it's a little cat bus. And who's in there?
Totoro.
Totoro. You got that for your birthday, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yep. All right. Well, Ezekiel, let me ask you this. What was your favorite part of My Neighbor Totoro?
When Cat Bus came.
Yeah, when Cat Bus came. Why did you like Cat Bus? Speak up.
Because he's cool.
He's cool? Would you want to ride in Cat Bus? You gotta say yes.
Yes.
So people can hear you. All right. Well, let me ask you this. What was your favorite character?
May.
May. Why did you like May?
I don't know.
You don't know. She's kind of funny, huh?
Why?
Why what?
Why is she kind of funny?
I thought she was. Did you?
Mm-hmm.
You did? Why did you think she was funny?
Because remember when that part she said she was going to run some errands?
She's going to run some errands? Yeah, I do remember that part.
Why did she say that?
I think she was pretending, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was funny. And who did she go? Who did she find when she was running errands?
Totoro?
Yeah, Totoro. Well, let me ask you this.
What?
What was something that you thought was interesting about My Neighbor Totoro?
When Totoro came.
When Totoro came? Why did you like Totoro?
Well, he's cool too.
He's cool too? What's so cool about him?
Well, he's just kind of silly.
He's silly. He is silly. What do you remember what part we thought was really silly?
When he said, Totoro.
Yeah, that is silly. But that's not the part I was thinking about. I was thinking about when it was raining.
He had a leaf on his head.
He had a leaf on his head. That was funny, huh?
Mm-hmm.
All right. Was there anything else you wanted to say about My Neighbor Totoro?
Totoro said, Totoro.
Totoro.
Why did you say that?
That's his name. All right. You done?
He was telling May that.
He was what? Oh, yeah. He was telling May his name. That's true. Yeah. All right. Would you want to watch Totoro again?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe one day we will, huh? Maybe after we finish the book. We're reading the novelization of My Neighbor Totoro.
What do you mean?
We're reading the book version. Yep, there's Cat Bus. All right. Tell everyone bye.
Bye.
See you later.
See you later.
You watching closely?
What's the secret, Max?
You just gotta find something you love to do and then do it for the rest of your life.
I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me.
Hello, and welcome to The Establishing Shot, a podcast where we do deep dives into directors and their filmographies. I am your host, Eli Price, and we are here on episode 33 of the podcast. And today we're doing a car chase draft. We actually are a little bit out of sequence. Me and Dave Lester, who is joining me today, just got done recording a conversation about Duel. I'm in Christopher Nolan. We just mentioned him, and so he's on my mind. Steven Spielberg's first kind of feature-length movie. It was a TV movie. So we just got done recording that. That'll actually be releasing next week, a little different than normal. Usually we release the drafts after the talk. That inspires them. But yeah, this time we're doing a little out of sequence. But yeah, Dave, welcome to the podcast. It's a little behind the curtains of podcasting. It's weird when you record out of sequence and you're releasing things out of sequence because I've already introduced Dave, so it feels weird to introduce him again.
Here I am again, and this is technically my third time on the show now.
Yeah,
I have the trifecta.
So technically, second time if you're going by release, but if you're going by production. If you're going by production sequence, it's your third time. So
gotcha. Okay.
It's kind of like a C.S. Lewis. Do you go by like publication release or chronological or for Chronicles of Narnia? You know.
Yes, right. Magician's Nephew or The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Gotcha.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, Dave is joining me. Dave is a podcaster himself. He has a podcast he co-hosts called Veterans of Culture War, and also a fairly new one called Does the Bible Say That, where he kind of goes through passage by passage of scripture, kind of for Christians and people that are just interested in learning about the Bible, whether they're Christian or not. Yeah, really great. Two really good podcasts. I've enjoyed listening to both of those. So I'll definitely drop those in the episode description, links to those, so you can find them there. But yeah, we are doing a car chase draft inspired by our discussion of Steven Spielberg's Duel, which the whole movie is a car chase. And we're going to kind of call that the honorable mention. This can be the Duel honorarium car chase draft, I guess, could be the official title of it. But I don't know if you planned on drafting Duel, but I was thinking we would take it off the board since we're going to spend a whole episode next week talking about it.
It was not. It was not on my list, but
good.
If we were going to allow it, you could certainly make a case for some of these scenes and how they were taught, for sure. Yeah,
absolutely. But yeah, let's. I think it'll be good to do. Let's see. This will be a short episode. We're gonna kind of run through these real quick. But yeah, let's jump in. I think we'll try to knock out 5 each. So
okay.
Yeah. Do you have enough?
I do.
Well, we don't. Okay, good. It's hard not to. There's a lot of good car chases out there.
On this one, I have to beat you on your own show. So I did some research into this one.
Oh, good. Yes. I love it. So the thing about that is usually my tradition is if you're a first time guest, you get the first pick in a movie draft. But if you're returning, I claim the first pick. But don't worry, because if you come on again in the future, you'll have the first pick again. It's only fair. It's only fair.
Cool.
But yeah. So the first, I've got the first pick. I'm gonna go with. It's really hard because there's some really really fun car chases out there. And until this moment, I haven't actually thought about what I'm actually going to go with number 1. So this is by the seat of my pants. I'm going to go ahead and, I mean, you could take any number of sequences from Mad Max Fury Road. But I've got to go with the sequence, like the kind of iconic sequence with the guy hanging with the guitar and Max. Yeah. Okay. Max in the mask and like getting like finally taking over the car and Yeah,
Solid.
it's just so good, so fun, and just an incredible. I've always claimed that Mad Max Fury Road is one of the best action movies of all time. I stand by that, and that sequence is just so fun, so incredibly shot. Yeah, well done, George Miller. And George Miller, by the way, that you can see kind of like peeking behind me. This is one of my main sources for my Spielberg research. It's called Steven Spielberg, All the Films. It's actually pretty new. It just released at the end of last year. But George Miller wrote the kind of preface for it. So yeah. So shout out to George. But yeah, you've got the next pick.
Okay.
I took the big boy off the board. Where are you going to go?
That is indeed a big one. I am going to go in keeping with something that we talked about in the forthcoming Duel episode. Spielberg is a fan of this movie, and as a matter of fact, if you go to IMDb and look at Spielberg's filmography, I think he is at least thinking about, or maybe it's in pre-production, he is doing a sequel to this movie. It's going to be Bullet with Steve McQueen, and mostly just for that San Francisco car chase. Just amazing.
Oh, man, it's incredible. And I was kind of hoping I could get away with maybe getting that with my second pick. I was hoping you would go somewhere else. And that was the other one I was thinking about. I was like, do I take Mad Max or do I go Bullet? Oh man, that is such an incredible car chase through San Francisco.
Yeah.
McQueen does a lot of the driving in it.
Oh, yeah, I did not know that. That's amazing.
Yeah. He doesn't do all the driving. There was a point in time where everyone thought that McQueen did all the driving. But it's come out. There were a couple of stunt guys that did some of the stuff, but he did do most of it, which is really impressive. And I also read that that was not actually in the original script. McQueen was like, we've got to do a car chase. And so he's the reason that it's in there at all, which is cool.
That is bonkers.
If you, I thought the movie was, I actually watched this leading up to this for the first time. And the movie it's fine. I think it's okay as a whole, but that car chase is just, it's probably, you could argue it's the best car chase in a movie of all time.
Maybe purely.
It's incredible.
Yeah. Without CGI, just like a pure car chase. Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. And I want to say Bradley Cooper is tied to the Spielberg one that you can see on IMDb. So that's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got some developments.
Hi. Quick reminder that you can be a huge help to the production of this show. If you visit establishingshotpod.com/donate, you'll find out how to join the Establishing Shot family through some giving tiers starting as low as $5 a month. You heard that right, only $5 a month. And not only will you be helping me keep the show going, but you'll also get some perks yourself, like early and ad-free episodes, bonus episodes, access to a Discord server where we can chat it up about the show and movies in general, and more. Might even let you choose a movie for me to review for the show. Check out that link in the show notes to learn more. Back to the show.
Yeah, I'm coming up next with my pick, and I think I'll follow your lead and go with yours was late 60s, mine is 70s. I'm going to go with another famous old time car chase and go with Gene Hackman following the train in The French Connection. This is another one I caught up with recently for this draft. I love these drafts because they're an excuse to catch up with movies that I know I need to see. And man, that scene is so good. The tension is so good. Gene Hackman is like driving under a subway, like a risen up train car with the bad guy that he's trying to catch in the train car, and he's under the train following it in a car, and it's just like it's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I love Gene Hackman.
Yeah.
That movie is,
He's
that movie is fine for me. It's pretty good. That scene though is amazing for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I liked it a little bit more than Bullet, just as an overall movie. But yeah, it's I don't like it as much as some people seem to like it. I'll say that.
Yeah. Right.
But I do think it's good. But yeah, you've got the third overall pick now.
Okay. Well, with my second pick, I'm going to go with the movie Ronin, the Paris Street Chase. So Ronin directed by John Frankenheimer and starring De Niro and a few other people in there. It's been a long time since I've seen the movie, but that car chase scene is amazing.
Okay, that's one I have not seen. So yeah, I'll definitely have to check that out. Or at least pull up the car chase scene on YouTube if I can find it on there. Sometimes you can.
Worth it.
Yeah. Ronin, Frankenheimer, and Frankenheimer is a big Spielberg influence too.
There you go.
So there you go. We've got all kinds of Spielberg.
Yeah,
all kinds of Spielberg tie-ins. All right, I'm gonna go with a very recent one next. Just like it's a one that I think is both like incredibly well made, and also like pretty funny, has some good comical touches. And I'm gonna go with the Rome chase sequence in Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1.
Nice.
Yeah, I loved that. That was one of my favorite parts of the movie. It's Cruise is in his Ethan Hunt is in handcuffs, and so his I'm blanking on the co-star, Haley Atwell. They jump in the car, and she has to drive some, and then he finally gets in the driver's seat, and then they switch to a little yellow Fiat at some point, and they're like tumbling down steps in Rome. And while they're like rolling down the steps, it's the Mission Impossible disguised car is the Fiat, which is just a joke in and of itself. And then they roll down the hill, and then somehow Haley Atwell is back at the driver's wheel again. And it's just and I want to say it's like 9 minutes long. It's a long action sequence.
It's a lengthy chase for sure. Yes.
Yeah. But I just loved it. It was one of my favorite parts of the movie, and I thought it was just I was like, I want to do a Mission Impossible car chase, and that was my favorite one, I think.
Right on. Yeah, that's a great movie actually. Mission Impossible,
I think so too,
is very quality in the action. Throughout. I don't really care for number 2, but I think the rest of them are solid to great. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So for my
all right, where are you going?
Yeah, maybe this will be a surprise to people, but if you go back and watch this scene, it is fantastic. And it's from The Matrix Reloaded, the freeway chase scene. I think absolutely incredible what the Wachowski brothers were doing with that. An amazing sequence.
Yeah, it was on my list for sure. I had it noted, and I was considering taking it later on. It's a fun scene too. There's a lot going on. A lot going on there. Yeah, that's a really good pick. And fun to get a Matrix movie in one of these drafts for sure. Hello again. Do you know how you can really support the show for free in just a few minutes or less? That's right. Just leave a rating and review on Spotify and Apple, or wherever you listen that might allow for ratings and reviews. These really help the visibility of the podcast. In fact, just hit that pause button right now and drop the review right now. And then you can get back to the show. I'd greatly appreciate it. Okay, I trust that you went and left that rating and review now. Back to the show. Okay, I am going to go. This is where it gets like, I'm not sure where to go. So maybe I'll just go with the one that might get me the most votes. that I do love. It's not that it's not like top notch, but it also is crowd pandering. And I'm going to go with the Dark Knight, the Batmobile, and the semi truck with the Joker in it. I mean, it's just top notch. It's a great chase scene, and you get the tumbler Batmobile at its peak, you know, in that sequence. Very, very, very fun, great scene.
Yep.
Yep.
Love that movie.
Mm-hmm.
For number 4, this may be kind of unconventional too. I don't know how many votes I'm going to get for some of these, but I think I'm going to go with Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. Just for just for that ending car chase sequence with the woman on the hood of the car. I think they didn't use a lot of CGI either. I think a lot of that was actual stunt work, and it is seriously impressive. I mean, this is it's a lesser known movie in the Tarantino canon, and that's probably for good reason. I mean, this isn't Pulp Fiction. This isn't Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Right. This is kind of his, horror grindhouse, as they call them, kind of entry. Right. But the scene is amazing if y'all want to go watch it again.
Okay. Yeah, this is that's one of my Tarantino blind spots. So I think there's only 2 Tarantino movies I haven't seen. That one, and I've actually never watched Kill Bill Volume 2 is the other one. I don't know why. I just haven't. It's just one of those where I haven't gotten around to it. But he does have. Okay, good. I'll have to rewatch both together at some point. He has the Movie Critic coming out sometime, and so I'm sure I'll fill in those blind spots before I see it for sure.
There you go. And I think Brad Pitt is maybe attached to the Movie Critic at this point, and they're also talking to Tom Cruise. So that would be
I heard that. Yeah,
that would be impressive for if this truly ends up being Tarantino's last movie. Those would be 2 big leading actors, I guess, to go out with.
Yeah, for sure, absolutely. Yeah, this is my last pick, and I'm gonna highlight one of my just like all-time favorite movies. I think it's just an action-packed, fun 45. Is it 45? Yeah, it's 45 minutes on the dot. So just cutting in the feature length. And I'm going all the way back to 1924 with Buster Keaton's Sherlock Jr.
Nice touch.
Love so there's the scene where he's being chased by all the gang. It's in the spoiler alert. Most of the movie's in like a dream sequence, but he's being chased by all the gangsters, and he ends up on the front of a bike, like a police officer motorcycle, and they hit a bump, and the police officer falls off the back, and he's just sitting on the front of the motorcycle over the handlebars, thinking the guy's still there and like talking to him. And like, you just got to go, even if you don't watch the whole movie, which I recommend going and watching it because I think it's a masterpiece. I love Sherlock Jr. But just pull up just go on YouTube and put Sherlock Jr. car chase, watch it. It's incredible. I started to, before we jumped on, before you hopped on, I started to Google like, how did he do the scene, the shots where he's there's nobody on the back, but he's on the handlebars and it's still like steering and driving and stuff. But then I was like, no, I don't want to know. I think it's like the movie magic. Let's just leave the mystery there.
Yep. That old
Sherlock Jr.
Man. Leave it alone.
Yeah.
All right, my final pick. I'm gonna piggyback on your Dark Knight, and I'm gonna go with the Batman with Robert
Yeah.
Pattinson. That is I'm a big fan of Batman as well, and that is
Mhm.
also an incredible car chase sequence that was in. Did
It
that movie
is.
come out last year or the year before? It was
2 years ago.
2 years ago. So look
Yeah.
forward to the sequel on that one. But yeah, enjoyed that tense
Yeah.
car chase as well.
Love. Yeah, I love that one. I probably like it just as much as the one in The Dark Knight, to be honest. Personally, but
Yeah, The Dark
The
Knight is a
Dark Knight
better movie,
will get the
but
votes.
it is a better movie. I'll give The Dark Knight's that's got to be pretty close to
Sure,
a
sure.
5-star movie. The Batman I did like.
Yeah,
It's a 4-star movie maybe for me, but yeah.
yeah. I think I actually have them both at 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah, I would probably still slot The Dark Knight in, just like if I had to pick one, maybe I would go The Dark Knight, but I loved the Batman Matt Reeves version.
Yeah. If somebody made you
Yeah.
choose, you got to put The Dark Knight there.
Yeah, you just have to. But yeah, for sure.
Hello there, listener. Don't you ever want more for your life? Don't you ever dream of surpassing the status of just podcast listener? Well, I've got good news. If you head on over to establishingshotpod.com and click the send a voicemail button on the right side of your screen, you can be featured on the podcast. I'd love to hear from you, whether it's a comment in response to an episode you liked, an opinion of mine you disagreed with, or just a question for me. And if you're too shy to have your voice featured, you can always email me at establishingshotpod@gmail.com. Don't settle for just being a podcast listener. Reach for the stars and get featured on The Establishing Shot. Back to the show.
Hey, I did want to hop on and give a few honorable mentions that we didn't get to in my discussion with Dave on our car chase draft. So yeah, I will jump back in a second and finish that discussion out. But yeah, there's a lot of really great car chases that we didn't draft that I did want to mention, just because, well, it's fun. But yeah, let me jump in here to my notes. Obviously, Duel is a great one. There's some good stuff with that in the movie that sparked this movie draft. But others I did want to mention. One that I think is really good and really fun is the opening scene in Baby Driver. The way the soundtrack is used, and some really great stunt driving in that it's just, and the way it's shot is just really good. Another one that we didn't draft would be Terminator 2. The kind of sequence where they're in the kind of like underpass thing, and you got Arnold on the bike, and the bad guy, the baddie in the big tractor trailer chasing Buddy in his bike. That one's really entertaining and really fun as well. Of course, I have to mention the movie Drive with Ryan Gosling. It's you would think there would be more car chases in this, but there's really only one main one, and it's pretty good. It's kind of a more subtle in its like bombasticness, I guess, and stunts, but definitely some cool moves done there. Others, I mean, you have a lot of good car chases in kind of the action, I guess, franchises you would think of, like Bourne Identity has a good one. You have some good ones in Bond. There's the tank one in GoldenEye. That's really good. I really enjoy the one at the beginning of No Time to Die. where he gets kind of stuck, encircled, and then the machine guns pop out of the headlights, and he does a little donuts, and that one's fun. And then you have Tenet. I had a friend mention the kind of backwards car chase in Tenet, which is really inventive and really cool. We didn't draft it, but I think that was definitely one I had in consideration. That and Baby Driver were probably next up for me. There's also a lot that I just haven't seen as well. Just thinking about off the top of my head, like their original The Italian Job has a really good one that I've kind of seen some clips of here and there. You have the one in Raiders of the Lost Ark. That's fun and enjoyable. Shot really well too. There's we drafted the Mad Max Fury Road, but obviously there's some great ones in the original Mad Max movies too. Vanishing Point is one I haven't seen that is kind of like one big long car chase the whole movie that apparently has some good stuff in there. Just kind of going down the list, there's a good one that I've seen a clip of in the movie The Rock, Michael Bay's movie. We did cover The French Connection, William Friedkin's movie, but he also has a great car chase in a movie I haven't seen, but I've seen clips of the chase in To Live and Die in L.A. There's a lot of really good ones. Gone in 60 Seconds, the original, apparently has a really good one and long one at that. You could probably go on and on. The Fast and Furious movies aren't really my thing. No hate towards the people that love those movies, but there is the really entertaining one in Fast 5 where they're pulling. I think they're pulling some safes or something. There's a lot of really great car chases in movies they're always really fun. Enjoyed doing this draft, but I am going to get back to that with Dave. This is a great list. So I'm going to read out the final picks. I ended up with Mad Max Fury Road, The French Connection, Mission Impossible Dead Reckoning Part 1, The Dark Knight, and Sherlock Jr. And Dave ended up with Bullitt. That's Bullitt for those of you that don't know this movie. It's the name of the detective, Bullitt. He ended up with Bullitt, Ronin, The Matrix Reloaded, Death Proof, and The Batman. So some Batman love today. Some old classic car chase love. We've got some good variety here, I think. A little bit for everybody. Yeah. So, go check out these movies, check out the car chases, and get ready for a conversation next week on Steven Spielberg's Duel. I think I might also attach on a little extra with recording with my son. I'm going to let him give his thoughts on My Neighbor Totoro for the podcast. So I'm going to put that on right after this, but that's it for the car chase draft. That was fun, Dave. Thanks for coming on and doing this with me and talking Duel, which will come out next week. I really appreciate it. And I'll make sure to put all those places to find you. You're on Twitter. I'll get your Blue Sky on there too. I don't have Blue Sky personally, but I might need to jump on there with you if I can.
It's my backup plan if Twitter goes to put. So I'll put all that in the episode description where you can find Dave. But thanks for coming on, Dave. Enjoyed it. Thanks everybody. Take care.
We
I'm happy here. For a little while.
But look, I figure it this way. Better to be king for a night than schmuck for a lifetime.